I can't explain the feeling of sadness I felt a few days ago when someone close to me told me he no longer believes in God. He said he's back to traditional religion. I really don't want to imagine what that could be. I also can't imagine what strained the relationship between him and God. In recent times, this has become an all too familiar story. Many no longer believe due to various reasons. At the top of the list is usually fake or errant pastors, followed closely by personal misfortune, such that leaves you wondering, how can God watch me go through this? I promise that I will find time to speak to him about his loss of faith. But the truth is that I don't even know where to begin. I've asked myself several times if there's anything that could ever make me say God is not real. Is there any misfortune that I could experience that will lead my wife or anyone else for that matter to say to me, curse God and die? As I deliberated on this, I then remembered when as a teenager, I actually used to wonder if my father was really my father. He was a judge, and I assumed that the phrase, as sober as a judge, guided his mean. He was the dictionary definition of strict, and spare the rod and spoiled child was a favorite quote of his. When I hear my kids talk about visiting friends, parties and sleepovers, I can't just help but laugh. I could never, ever have mentioned such to my dad. His strictness was legendary, and as such, people knew to avoid our house or comport themselves whenever they visited. I will never forget the last time he flogged me. I had gone out and my heart fainted when upon my return I was told he was looking for me. When his multi-pronged koboko welcomed me as soon as I entered his study, I didn't know when I shouted, "Daddy, what joy do you derive from this cane?" He immediately stopped, and as I saw the pain in his eyes, I regretted my words. In many homes today, you will hear parents say things like, "No television for you this week. You can't watch that. No more games for you. No play dates, no parties, etc." Why do we do this? Do we hate our kids? I don't think so. I know many parents who cut off pocket money to their kids in university because their kids hardly call them. And when they do, it's because they need one thing or the other. So they know that immediately the money tap is turned off, their kids will immediately start paying them some attention. There are also parents who limit finances to their kids because they don't want them to get caught up in vices like drug use, drinking, and smoking. Parents don't do any of these out of hatred, but out of love. They want to protect their kids, or they want attention from their kids. Has it occurred to you that this is the same relationship we have with God? As our Father, he neither sleeps nor slumbers for our sake. The same way we as parents have said no candy or soda is the same way he gives us some laws because he knows they are in our best interest. They help protect, guide, and mold us. The same way we cut off pocket money to get the attention of our kids is the same way he allows the economy to slow down. Are we not all praying now? Are we not all calling on him now? We now know that what God cannot do does not exist. He now has our undivided attention because things are rough. The same way we use things like the television, games, sleepovers, money, punishments, etc. to train our kids is the same way God uses everything happening to you right now to train you. He is always the reason for the season. Find the reason in your season. I erroneously believed my dad flogged me because he hated me. I believed he wasn't my dad until I saw the pain in his eyes the day I confronted him. All he ever wanted was for me to end up good. He wanted me at home so I could spend quality time with him. He wanted me to live right. He wanted me to outlive him. He wanted me to do better than he did. What was wrong with these? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's also absolutely nothing wrong with God trying to protect us or to get our attention any which way he can. Job understood this. This is why even though he felt the heat of the fire, it didn't consume him. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The term Abba, Father is mentioned in the Bible only 3 times, and all 3 are in the New Testament. The first was when Joshua said, Abba, Father, all things are possible unto thee. Take away this cup from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what thou wilt. We also see Abba, Father again when Paul, in writing to the Galatians, said, and because ye are sons, God hath sent forth the Spirit of His Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. In the original language, the term Abba, Father is Abba, Pater, which means Father, my Father. Abba, Father is a place and position of sonship with God. It's a place of grace and love. It's a place of revelation of who your Father is, who you are in Him, and who you are to Him. It's a position of privilege. It's the innocence of babies when they pull the cheek of their father as they sit on his lap. It's the freedom of children when they sleep on daddy's bed, when they sit on his chair or break a glass cup without the fear of reprimand. It's a place where the only law is love. Some of us are struggling every day when we should be at rest. We live a life of loneliness, guilt, burden, and sadness when we have a Father who created the universe and owns everything in it. We carry unnecessary burdens because we lack knowledge of who He is, who we are to Him, and who we are in Him. All of us are His children, but not all of us are sons. Sonship is a choice and comes by revelation. It will be a tragedy to go through life not really knowing who your Father is and who you are to Him. Twice, when Abba, Father, was used in the Bible, we see the word cry preceding it or describing how Abba, Father, was mentioned. It's the same way a baby cries, Daddy, Daddy, or Mommy, Mommy. It's a cry of innocence and surrender. It's a cry that says you can do nothing without Daddy or Mommy. It's a cry that says, Daddy, I need you. Daddy, carry me. Daddy, I love you. For all those who no longer believe God exists for one reason or the other, all I can say to you is this. When the prodigal son was still far from home, his father recognized him from a long distance and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. He still called him son. So today I say to you, come back home. God still calls you son. God bless you all.